Hello, and welcome to the EDS info session. Let's start with the agenda. Today, we're going to look at the objectives of the session, Swift's onboarding, the EDS registration, the EDS registration for the Swift.com account, then the EDS graphical user interface, and the user interface walkthrough. Let's go into the objectives of today's session. By the end of this session, we should be able to understand the onboarding options and flows for both PSPs and RVMs, create and verify your personal Swift.com user account, link your Swift.com account user to the correct BIC. We're going to confirm that you are fully registered and can access the EPC Directory Service tab. Then we're going to navigate to the EDS graphical user interface and locate key configuration screens. First, into Swift's onboarding. Currently, getting a BIC for your institution is not applicable as all of the current ROP participants already have a BIC assigned. If your institution does not yet have a BIC, you will first need to request one via Swift.com, as it will be required to proceed with onboarding. EDS registration, understanding the options from a PSP point of view. And now, I pass the ball to my colleague, who will take over the next portion of the session.
Let's now look at the steps required for you to get registered to the EDS and understand what are the various options available from a PSP point of view. So different concepts are important to understand in the context of the EDS registration. First one is the authentication. So basically, you need a Swift.com account linked to a BIC in order to be able to be authenticated and use the EDS. The second concept is you need authorization to use the EDS. For that, you will need to have the email linked to your Swift.com user account listed in the VOP adherence document so that it's reflected in the registry of participants published by the EPC. Once you have both your user authenticated and authorized, you then have access to the EDS GUI. Now, there are different options to get to that point. The first and simplest option is for a PSP that works with the EDS on its own, so without going through an RVM. In that scenario, the PSP goes through standard registration with their own Swift.com user associated to their own institution BIC, and there is no delegation towards the RVM. When a PSP goes through an RVM and wants to delegate EDS activities to that RVM, there's two different approaches. The first one is what we call the standard registration with delegation. In that scenario, the first few steps will need to be performed by the PSP in order to activate the registration. So in that case, the PSP will need, again, its own Swift.com user linked to its own PSP institution BIC, and through the GUI, that user will delegate EDS activities from the PSP to the RVM institution. Some PSPs want an even simpler registration process. So we have put in place the third option, which is the simplified registration with delegation. In that scenario, all interactions with the EDS will be conducted by the RVM. So prior to that, we need to have delegation set up through the VOP adherent process from the PSP to a specific RVM user, so a specific RVM user email address that will be mentioned in the EPC registry of participants. that specific user of the RVM will then be required to link its Swift.com user to the EPC-BIC. And once that is done, that user will be authorized to trigger the delegation from the PSP institution to the RVM institution. And only then all users of the RVM institutions will be able to act on behalf of that PSP.
To first get your Swift.com account registered, you have to make your way into the login page for Swift.com. You're going to have to complete a sign-up form with some personal information. You're going to have to verify your email, set up two-factor authentication, and then log in for the first time. First, make your way to the Swift.com landing page and click on Login. Once you are on the login page, please make your way into the Create an Account, as highlighted on the screen. Once you click on Create an Account, you will be redirected to the registration form. The registration form is in 3 parts: personal information with your title, first name, last name, telephone numbers. Next, your email and password. You can see on the screen that the password should adhere to specific rules. Please keep that in mind. Then you're going to have to indicate your communication preferences. And lastly, you're going to have to complete a CAPTCHA challenge. Once the form is successfully sent, a notification will appear that shows that your request has been sent successfully. Please make your way into the email address that you've used. You will have to click on the link in the verification email. This usually takes a few minutes. Once you click on the link to confirm your email, it will activate your profile, and next you will have to set up the two-factor authentication. This is the notification after you click on the link that confirms that your account creation has been set up. You will be redirected to this page, and on the page there will be a box to confirm your email. You will also be requested to tick the terms of use and privacy statement on this page. Once you've confirmed, another notification box will appear that confirms that your account has been successfully created. Going up next, make your way to the login page again on Swift.com. Enter your email and your password for your newly created Swift.com account, and you will be prompted to set up the two-factor authentication. You can choose between using an SMS on your mobile phone or receive an email with a code on the email you've provided. Once configured, you'll receive a one-time code which you will be prompted to enter when you log in, and thus your account is fully set up. Once you first log in onto your Swift.com account, and to make sure that you can link your account to a BIC, click on My Tools on the top right corner. And under My Tools and the Support section, click on My Profile as highlighted on the screen. Once you click on My Profile, on the right side, there will be a box that says Register for an institution. Please click on the box, and that will prompt this data entry box where you need to locate the BIC or the customer number for your institution and make sure to select it. And then click Next. We're just going to recap how to link the account to a BIC. To register your institution BIC, you have to make your way to My Profile, then click on Register a New Institution. You have to search and select your BIC, choose your employee role, then Submit. This will prompt the admin approval flow to start. The admin approval flow is usually 1 business day long. You have to wait for an access approved email that you will receive. Once that is done, you can re-log in, make your way to My Profile again, and the correct BIC should now appear under your profile. Lastly, in this section, we're going to confirm your readiness to access the EDS graphical user interface. So, is your Swift.com user created, and do you have two-factor authentication enabled? Is the user to BIC link approved, whether your own institution or the EPC? Did you successfully log in into your Swift.com account? Is your profile selector showing the correct BIC? Lastly, the EPC directory service should now be accessible. And next, we will cover how to walk through the graphical user interface.